As the movie begins, a pregnant woman named Natalia is shown, then it is time of her delivery. Elena, the mother of Natalia, is also present. Natalia's condition is beginning to cause her discomfort, and her mother takes her to the hospital immediately. Due to the late hour, the majority of doctors are absent. However, a nurse is treating her. Now Natalia gives birth to a child. When they see the infant, however, they are all shocked and concerned, because everything I witnessed was incredible. Because the baby begins to fly, Natalia is also astonished. She then informs her mother that an angel baby has been born in their home. Being knowledgeable and seasoned, Natalia's mother recognizes that he is not typical, and it is true, as the baby was born without gravity. They are unprotected individuals, therefore leave the hospital. Despite what the nurse says, it is not yet time for their discharge, but they ignore her when they arrive at their home. Natalia's mother asks her a peculiar question as she enters the house. She asks that you remember the child's guardian, but Natalia is unable to recall the child's guardian. Then her mother informs us that this child is not normal and that we must keep it a secret, and we can face a lot of difficulties if someone knows about it. Then they choose child's name, which is Oscar, and Oscar was in reality an uncommon child, because his fostering was not easy. He used to stick with ceiling for a long time as they leave him alone. His grandmother makes the different straps for him to keep that child on the ground. They also make the ceiling pulpy and feathery so the child may not get harmed, because they had fear as if they leave him outside alone, he will go to the space flying in the air. So they are very careful about Oscar. His mother and grandmother take care of him much. Oscar starts growing with the passage of time, but he remains in the house. His grandmother does not allow him to go outside. He used to watch the cartoons of Superman living at home. He also used to imagine as he is a superhero. Then Oscar asks from his mother Natalia for many times that why do they not allow him to go outside. They, however, ignore it. Oscar sees people through the window, including kids like him who are on their way to school, and he used to look at the playing kids with longing eyes, longing for an independent life. He thinks as he will perhaps imprison here forever. Then, one day, Oscar tries to escape through the window, irritated by the confinement of the house, but his grandmother is got furious seeing him. Observing all action, grandmother seals all windows, and she guides Oscar that he will never go outside from the house like the school-going kids, and he will read living at home. Hearing it, Oscar's mother is got angry, and she says, how much time will we keep him in imprisonment? He will go outside at one time. Then Oscar's mother brings a jacket for him, keeping the 2 stones in its pockets, so that he may no fly. She takes Oscar outside, ignoring her mother. Moreover, she asks her to not tell the secret to anyone like Superman, otherwise he will not be a Superman. Once Oscar goes with his mother for the purchasement of goods and collides with a child girl. That child girl name is Agata. Agata's goods are fallen down from her hand. She shouts on Oscar, handing over him 2 water bottles. She says, "It is your punishment to leave these bottles at my house." But Oscar refuses it. But Oscar agrees on the insistence of Agata, and he goes with that child girl without telling his mother. Now 2 heavy bottles are in the hands of Oscar and stones are also in his pockets. As a result, he is feeling slightly overweight, so he drops the 2 stones, getting out his pocket. His friendship is developed with Agata now. Reaching at her home, Agata asks the water bottles, but Oscar refuses to return the water bottles, because he knows that he will start flying in the air if the bottles are returned. Agata is immature, so she snatches the water bottles from Oscar. As she takes water bottles from Oscar, he starts flying in the air. That place is bound in its surroundings, so Oscar does not fly too high. Agata is left astonished seeing it and calls her Superman while shouting. Oscar asks them for help. Hearing this, Agata immediately goes to her house and brings her a pink bag filled with stones. It was a good idea of them that he puts these stones in his bag. Their plan is successful and Oscar descends. Then they become bosom friends. Oscar says to Agata, "Promise me that you will keep it a secret." On the other hand, mother and grandmother are worried about Oscar's disappearance. They are looking for him thoroughly, and they think he has blown up. His mother finds the stones that fell on the ground and put them in his pocket. Then Oscar returns home with the given bag of Agata and tells his mother about Agata. His mother then asks, "Did you tell her your secret somewhere?" But he lies and says that I did not tell anything. After that, Oscar and Agata continue to meet for many days. One day Oscar's mother learns that Agata knows about the secret. His mother forbids him to meet Agata after that day. Agata keeps coming to Oscar's house, but is shown the door by Natalia. Then they become suspicious in the eyes of the people around them, because they feel that Oscar's mother and grandmother treat him badly, so they do not allow him to go outside. And he does not go to school either. They report it to the police, and the police come to their house the next day and admonish them to send Oscar to school. And they had to send Oscar to school under pressure. Then Oscar's mother goes to school with him. They are sure that Oscar can never live a normal life. When they bring Oscar, there are tears in their eyes. Their mother understands everything and decides to leave the house. Then they begin to live in a faraway place and leave home. Many years have passed and Oscar has also grown up. His mother has grown old and his grandmother is no longer there. And Oscar still has the bag he got from Agata. He never separated this bag from him. Even to sleep he always took this bag with him. His way of life is still the same today. He spends his life at home. He spends his life in secret. Oscar and his mother always took care of each other. Oscar was bored with his life. He was frustrated because he was hiding this secret. Then he thinks that in a short time he will be famous all over the world like his ideal Superman when the world finds out about him. And many people will write books about him. But his mother does not wish that. But his mother tells him that it will not happen. She fears losing him if the world learns about this secret. For his mother's sake, he shows patience. But one day he storms out of the house without telling his mother. Then he visits a magic show to show his talent for the first time, where people's talents are revealed. This show is the highlight that night, and his mother also watches the show. Oscar's mother is helpless in this matter. Many people had seen him on TV, which made him very famous. The next day, he meets a man named David. He is in fact an agent. He guarantees Oscar that he can help him become famous. We will arrange a crowd puller that will make you famous. He gives him a big house as a residence when he signs the contract. Oscar wanted to be famous. He goes to a big show and shows his performance. Oscar becomes a famous person too quickly, and after that he is called the man without gravity. These people enjoyed their work and made a lot of money. But one day Oscar realizes that his childhood dream of being a superhero is really not one at all. He is now just a puppet used by people for their entertainment. Sometimes he is used in magic shows and sometimes in media events. As time goes by, he becomes more and more uncomfortable. Although many books have been written about him, and many magazines are printed, and documentaries are made showing the bad image of his mother and grandmother, and Oscar does not like that at all. Then there is one last show where he wears the costume of an angel, which he hates. He says, "I am not an angel," and starts calling people in the show names and gets angry. Then he says to his mother that he has decided to leave all these things. To his agent he says, "Enough. I do not want to be famous anymore and my work has been up to here." He will not work anymore. His agent explains, "You cannot leave it like that." But Oscar is irritated by all this. He asks him to tell people that the man without gravity has died or blown up. He says goodbye to his mother because he wants to have a life of his own. The death of the man without gravity will be announced in the next few days. Many people speak differently about him. Oscar's mother starts living alone, and many journalists continue to visit her in her house to get information about Oscar, but she tells them nothing. After many years, Oscar's mother also dies, but Oscar was still alive. He led his life in a different way. He wore a long beard and sat in a wheelchair to hide his secret from the world. He has changed his identity and works in a hotel as a receptionist. Everyone was very polite to him. One day he meets his friend Ada. She recognizes him by the pink bag Oscar still carries. She had given it to him when he was a child, and because of that bag, he stayed down and did not get married. They are happy when they meet, but Agata was dissatisfied with her life, because her goal was only to earn money, and so she had no conscience. In the hotel where Oscar worked, he visited many boys. Oscar felt very bad when he saw them. Oscar often shared his feelings with Agata. She changed too much and ignored his words. It is then explained that Oscar still has feelings for her. The grief is the reason for Agata's change of life, and Oscar has also left her. Finally, they reconcile with each other and get married. At last they share the same parental home. And that is the end of the film. And if you like the content we post, please show your love in comments. Have a great day ahead and I will meet you in next video.